Hello there, MSL here. Welcome to this video. And bank reconciliations are very easy. I will use 3 past exam questions to teach you bank reconciliations. If you stay with me through to the very end and we've gone through all of these 3 questions, I promise you that not a single bank reconciliation question on the face of the earth can ever beat you in any exam question. So let's start. Before we look at the questions, let's look at a quick overview of the principle behind bank reconciliations. Why must we do these? Now, in the past, these days we have electronic digital banking, so it's not too common. But in the past, there could be variances between what the bank had as your balance and what you had in your books. So we call this balance per what? Say balance per bank statement will be a certain figure. Then balance per cash book. So because of some differences, so some people call this timing differences, some also call, we also have informational differences. There could be some transactions that the bank has done in your account. So let's say they took bank charges for the month. So the monthly e-commerce banking charges, monthly service charges. They took those charges from your account, but you're not aware. So you did not make the adjustment in your cash book. All those things will lead to differences. Another thing could be if you've made a standing order on your account for the bank to make a certain payment on your behalf every month, that payment will be made without your knowledge. And by the time you realize, you will now have to make an adjustment in your books. The next is if your friend decides to surprise you and transfers money into your account. In the past, when we didn't have e-alert, where you get a message that says you received money, in the past, you would have to wait to get your bank statement before you adjust the bank statement balance to yours. So bank reconciliations are arisen because there will be differences between what you have in your books as the balance that should be in your bank account and what the bank says you should have according to your bank statement given to you at the end of the month. That is all. Before we start, quick recap. I'm sure when you receive money, you get an alert or an email, an SMS that says your account has been what? Credited with an amount. When you make a payment or you make a payment online or you withdraw money from an ATM, what do they say? Your account has been debited with an amount, right? So the bank, when you get money, which is positive and inflow, they say you've credited, your account has been credited. When you make a payment, they say your account has been what? Debited, that's negative. So positive and negative. However, so this is from the perspective of the bank. From the perspective of the business, however, in your cash book, this is what happens. The reverse happens. When you receive money in a business, what do you say? You say you debit bank. So from the perspective of the business, debited rather means what? A positive. You've increased, you've received funds. When you make payment, then you credit in your books, right? So credited to the business rather means negative. If you know this, you are set to answer any bank reconciliation question you ever come across. What do I mean? It means anytime, so let me do this little table. So business, and then what? Bank. When the business debits, the bank credits. When the business credits, the bank debits. If you know this, we are good to go. Whenever a transaction is credited in the bank, or from the perspective of the bank, the business should debit it. Whenever a transaction is debited from the perspective of the bank, the business should credit it. Now that we know this, let's start. But let me introduce you to 2 new terms. The first is called unpresented checks. Then the next is known as uncredited checks. Let me explain briefly so that when I start using them, you're not lost. Unpresented checks, as the name implies, are checks that have not been presented for payment. So you give someone a check, let's say in payment of a certain amount you owe them, and they don't present it to the bank for payment. It is unpresented. So in your books, you will recognize that you've made a payment, you credit your cash book, but the bank has not even seen the check towards charge your account with the amount. So there'll be a difference. Uncredited check is where, let's say, someone pays you with a check, you go and deposit the check with the bank, but the bank has not yet credited your account. So let's say when you receive the check, you debited your account because you now have increase in your bank balance. But when you send it to the bank, let's say in some countries it takes 48 hours for or 2 working days for a check to clear. So let's say within that period, there will be a difference where the bank has not yet credited that check. Not every country has immediate check clearance. Now that we know these, let's start the question. So in this first question, which is obviously a past exam question, the requirements required is to what? Prepare an adjusted cash book for AMA and Co. and reconcile the adjusted cash book balance with the bank statement balance of $3,350. So let's start. Like I said, we'll do 3 questions. By the time we are done, you'll be a bank reconciliation expert. Nobody can touch you. You'll be unbeatable. All right, so the first question is that we need to prepare what? First is prepare an adjusted cash book. And then we reconcile the cash book with the bank statement. That's what we call the bank reconciliation statement. So an adjusted cash book is simply a T account, nothing new. So adjusted cash book, it's a T account. Remember I told you the bank would, whatever the bank credits, the business will debit. So this is where you'll be doing the business transactions in the cash book, right? So let's start. They are saying here that the cash book balance of AMA and Co, the company, disclose a debit balance of 5,700. So we come to the debit side of the cash book here and we say balance brought down. What is the figure here? 5,700. Easy. By the time I'm done with you realize bank reconciliations are so easy to understand. All right. Which did not agree, okay, with a closing favorable bank statement balance of 3,350. A favorable balance at the bank clearly means that what? You have a credit in your account. I mean, you have a credit balance. You have not overdrawn your balance. So let's take note. This is how much we must reconcile with in the end. So don't worry, we'll do that. All right. Now, the following were discovered during the reconciliation process. First is what? Checks received from customers settling their debts amounting to 18,500 were still in the cashier's drawer. Take note, here, customers have brought us checks for us to actually go and put in the bank to get money, but the cashier has kept it in their drawer. Because of this, these checks have not been credited by the bank, so we call this what? Uncredited checks. Agreed? Customers have paid us by a check 18,500. The cashier has not yet deposited at the bank. So even though we have it and we have debited our account, the bank has not even seen the check in the first place to recognize this amount as a credit in our books from the bank perspective. So this is an uncredited check. It will go to the bank reconciliation statement, which I'll show you shortly. The next, they are saying $800 standing order for the payment of electricity charges was paid by the bank. This has not been recorded in the books of AMA and Co. Now, like I told you earlier, if the bank makes a payment in your account, what would they do? They would debit your account when they are paying something on your behalf, standing order. When the bank debits, what do? You credit. So you come to the credit side and you write here what? Standing order. What's the figure? Right here, 800. Good. The next is what? Checkbook charges of $50 is yet to be booked by the company. So once again, the bank has charged you for using your checkbook. They charged you how much? $50, and you've not yet booked it. When the bank is charging you for charges, what will they do? They will debit your account. So you have to what? Credit yours in your books. So you come to the credit side and you write what? Bank charges of what? $50. The next is what? The bank had debited AMA and Co. in error. of $1,000. So we call this one what? We call this a wrong debit. And it will feature on the bank reconciliation statement. I'll show you that shortly, don't worry. Next is that what? A credit transfer of 5,500 has been made in favor of AMA & Co. This has not been adjusted in the cash book. So someone sent money to your account of 5,500. They credited your account, so you have money in your bank. When the bank credits, what do? You debit. So you come to the debit side here and you write what? Credit transfer. Very easy. How much is it? 5,500, right? Next is what? As at 31st December 2019, checks totaling 12,500, which were recorded by Alma and Co. as pay to suppliers, had not been presented. This is clearly what? Unpresented checks, right? Unpresented checks. So this will go to what? The bank reconciliation statement. So it means from the perspective of the adjusted cash book, we are done. So let's balance off the account. So this is how to balance off an account. You add both sides. So you add 5,700 and 5,500, right? So 5,700 plus 5,500 gives me 11,200. So you put the same figure here. And then you find the difference between what? 11,200 and then 850, these two. So minus 850 gives me 10,350. So 10,350 will be my balance carried down. This obviously means I have what? A balance brought down of what? 10,350. This is 50. Okay, so 10,350. So this is my balance from adjusting my cash book. Now let's do the bank reconciliation statement. So this is how it looks like, right? So it's a template, it's a format. You can memorize it and you'll be a great preparer of bank reconciliation statement. So bank reconciliation statement has a format. You take your balance as per adjusted cash book, right? You add unpresented checks, right? So you can have two columns, US dollar here, US dollar here. Then you add wrong, take note, credits. Please, you cannot mix these up. You add one credit. Whatever you get, you add it here, right? Then you come and less on credited checks. Please take note, you can't mix this up. Then you also less what? Any wrong debits, right? So you less these two. Then when you get everything, balance per adjusted cash book plus this figure here minus this figure here should give you what? Balance as per bank statement. So please memorize it. Balance as per adjusted cash book. You add unpresented checks. You add wrong credits. Then you come and less uncredited checks and wrong debits. If you want to remember, see it like this. Wrong credits don't go with uncredited. That's how you can memorize it. Wrong credits don't go with uncredited checks. So the credits don't meet. They don't go together. They don't work together. Liverpool says you never walk alone, but tell yourself that when it comes to wrong credits and uncredited checks, they walk alone. They don't work together. So wrong credits will not go with uncredited checks. So it means wrong credits always go with what? Unpresented. Once you know this, you know that what? Wrong debits will rather take uncredited, right? Use this to remember this format. So now that we know this, let's plug in the numbers. So let's prepare a bank reconciliation statement. We have all the figures we need. right? So balance as per adjusted cash book. What do we have right here? Can you see? 10,350. So can we pick that figure? And you bring it here. 10,350. Then we add what? What did I say? Unpresented. Let me put this on the next line because of space. Unpresented checks. Do you remember? Let's come here. Let me show you where we got the figure. Remember I told you unpresented checks here was what? 12,500, this figure, right? So we have 12,500. Then you add what? Wrong credits. In this question, we don't have any wrong credits. What we have rather is what? A wrong debit. So we put here a dash or 0. So when we add this gives us 12,500. Then we less our uncredited checks. What did we get? I highlighted this here. Uncredited checks were what? 18,500. So 18,500 together with what? Wrong debits, which I've highlighted here already. Wrong debit here is what? $1,000 here. So 1,000. These two clearly give me 19,500. So all I need to do is what? Take 10,350. So 10,350 plus 12,500 minus 19,500, and that gives me 3,350. So 3,350. So balance as per bank statement. Can you see that this 3,350 is the same figure here at the top here? Can you see? 3,350. So it means we have fully reconciled the cash book to the bank statement. Now, let's see how good we are. Let's do another one. We'll do 3 questions. Like I said, by the time we've done all 3, trust me, nothing on the face of this earth can beat you when it comes to bank reconciliation statements. So let's take another past question. Let's do another past question. Now we are very confident, aren't we? Good. So the next question here, let's see. Let's smash this one as well, right? So this says Nyantechi Limited was preparing its reconciliation for the month of November 2018. Good. And they noted a difference between their bank statement balance and the balance on the bank accounts in their general ledger. This is the same as what? The general ledger contains the cash book. So this is the same as the balance per cash book. Okay. The bank statement shows a balance of 1,596 cash at bank. So this is balance per bank statement. Then the balance on the bank account in the cash book in the general ledger was 674 credits. So it means in our books, our bank balance is supposed to be in negative. It's supposed to be in red. We have overdrawn from the perspective of our books. Take note, bank is an asset. It should have a debit balance. If it has a credit balance like it has here, then it means that what we have overdrawn, or our account is in red. If that is the case, let's continue. The following reasons accounted for the difference. So before we look at that, let's see the requirements. What are we required to do? We are required to what? Number 1, prepare Nyantechi's adjusted cash book, including the necessary correcting entries as at 30th November 2018. The answer format must clearly indicate whether each entry is a debit or what? Credit. So that's fine. We'll do that anyways. Next is prepare a reconciliation of the bank statement balance to agree with the cash book balance as at 30th November 2018. So let's start the question. We know that we need to what? open up our adjusted cash book. So there's the second question we are doing. Let's open. Okay, it's standard best practice to always write the name of the company. So please do it. Nyan Techi Limited. And please, it's also standard best practice to always write the currency. Right, the first one I didn't do it because we were just trying to get the principal. So let's write the currency as well as in dollars. All right, so this is our adjusted cash book. Perfect. So what does it say? Let's come here. It says the balance on the bank account cash book was what? 674 credit. So we come to the credit side and we write what? Balance brought down of what? 674. It means it's credit, right? So that's our credit balance. All right. So they are saying, let's come back to the question. They said the following reasons accounted for the difference. Okay. 5 checks paid to the suppliers have not yet been presented. What would you call this? Tell me. These are what? Unpresented checks. Easy, right? They have not yet been presented, so they are called unpresented checks. Okay, so these are check number. They've numbered all the checks with different amounts, giving us 11,403. All right, let's move on. Hold on. They are saying check number 12,005 was lost in the post and has been what? Cancelled. Nyantechi has not yet recorded the cancellation of the check. So hold on a second. Hold on. The check number is what? 12,005. Let's come back and find it here. Right here. Good. That's it. The first one, 12,005 of what? 4,375. They said this check has been what? Has been cancelled. If a check has been cancelled, what does it mean technically? Take note that these are checks that we paid to our suppliers that we have not yet presented. When you pay something to a supplier, what would you do? From the perspective of the company, you would what? You will credit bank because you're making payment, right? So your bank balance will decrease. You credit bank to make payment. Now, if this check has now been cancelled, what do you need to do? If we are to borrow from the principle we learned in our correction of errors video, what did we say? You will make a debit entry to cancel the what? The credit entry. So we come and debit here. We say cancelled check. What's the figure? Right here, 4,375. So you make a debit entry here to offset the credit that is sitting on the credit side. So now you've gone back to what? Ground zero. You've net off or you've neutralized the effect of the previous credit when you issued the check that has now been cancelled. Okay, take note. So what it means is that our unpresented check figure will be 11,403 minus what? The cancelled check of what? 4,375. Please, we are not going to take this whole figure here because what? A part of it, this figure, has now been cancelled. So the difference is what will go to the bank reconciliation statement. Take note. The next is what? Check number 12,000. What? 120,010, yeah, was incorrectly recorded in Nyantechi's cash book as 2957. The check was correctly debited to the bank statement as 2759. So let's check first if this check. Oh, that was nice. Let's check if this check 12,010 is in our list. 12,000. No, you can see it's not in this list. So it means it's a different check they're talking about. Good news. Let's continue. So check number 12,010 was incorrectly recorded in Nyantechi's cash book as 2957. The check was correctly debited to the bank statement as 2759. Remember I told you that if the bank debits you, it means you must be what? You must be crediting your account. Remember? If the bank debits you, you must be what? credit in your account. But hold on one second. Who recorded more and who recorded less? The correct figure should have been 2759. We recorded what? 2957. So it means the bank has debited our bank balance with what? 2759. We have credited 2959. It means we have over recorded. We need to reduce the amount recorded. If you have an overcast, an over recording on the credit side, it is only a debit entry, the opposing entry, that can reduce it. So we need to make a debit entry of the difference between these two figures, right? To reduce it to what the correct thing should be. So let's find the difference. Calculator. Difference between 2957 minus 2759 gives me 198. So 198 is the difference. 198. Now this difference of 198, like I told you, currently we have recorded more on our credit side than we should. So we need to make a debit entry to offset that excess, right? So we enter 198 on the debit side to offset it, right? So we say error in recording check 198. And you're done. All right. The next they are saying is what? Bank charges of 2681 was debited by the bank. We go back to the basic principles we started with. If the bank debits you with bank charge, what would you do? In your books, you will do the opposite by what? Crediting. When the bank debits, you credit, right? So we come to our credit side and we write bank charges. What's the figure? They told us it's what? 2681 right here. So 2681. Perfect. Let's continue. A customer's check amounting to 2240 was returned by the bank in November as the customer had insufficient funds in his account. Nyantechi is yet to record the returned check in their books. Let's break this down to the barest level possible. If a customer's check has been returned to you, this is what it means. If the customer had insufficient funds, what it clearly means is that the customer gave us a check, right? And we were required to what? Go and deposit this check in our bank account so that at least we get the money, the bank credits us. Then the bank gets back to us and says, no, this customer does not have money in the account, so please cancel the check or take off the amount. They don't have the value or the cash they claim they have. So take note, what would you have done when a customer brought you money? If a customer gives you a check of 2,240, what you do as an everyday business is to debit your bank account by 2240. So we would have debited our bank with 2240. Now the bank is telling you the customer does not have money. So what do you need to do? You need to credit your bank account with 2240, credit bank with 2240 to offset this. So we come to bank and what? We just say, let's even call this our returned check of 2240, right? So what this will do is now it has cancelled the initial debit that we had standing in the books. Next is a deposit of 5950 entered in Nyantechi's cash book on 30th November 2018 was credited on the bank statement on 3rd December. This is not a trick one, but be careful. Let me show you something here. We are preparing the reconciliation as at what? 30th November 2018. Take note, 30th November 2018. So if we deposit $5,950 and we enter it in our cash book on 30th November, that's the last day of the month, but the bank only credits it 3 days later. It will go to the next month's bank statement, but it won't be captured in the current month's bank statement. So clearly, this is what an uncredited check. This is uncredited. Why? because they said what was only credited on 3rd December. 3rd December is 3 days after the month has ended. So we've cut off the recording at 30th November. So as at November, it has not been credited. And you know I told you uncredited checks will feature on what? The bank reconciliation statement. So let's take note. We'll put it there. Then they are saying here, the bank has incorrectly credited Nyantechi's account. This can clearly be said to be what? Guess what? A wrong what? Credit, because they have incorrectly credited. And you know that also appears on the bank reconciliation statement. So the bank has incorrectly credited Nyantechi's account with interest of 1,540. This is interest on a deposit account held by the managing director personally. The bank had not corrected the error by 30th November. So at least we know that this is a wrong credit that we must reflect in our books, right? So that does it. We can balance off the adjusted cash book. So let's do this. Which side will be bigger? It looks like the credit side. Let's add them and see. 674 plus 2681 plus 2240. That gives me 55. Oops. 5595. Yeah, that's clearly bigger than this. So 5595. Then we find the difference between what 5595 and then these two figures here together balance. Okay, so minus 198 minus 4375 gives me 1022. So 1022, this is my balance carried down. So my balance brought down is effectively 1022. So you can see we have carried forward that credit balance. So it means we still owe. Our bank account is still in red from the perspective of the business. So now let's go and do the bank reconciliation, which I gave you the template 2, right? So let's start. Balance as per adjusted cash book. Take a note here, we had a negative. If it's on the credit side, it means it's what? It's negative, right? So we use a negative figure here. Be careful. So we put here negative 1022. Then what do? We add on presented checks. Did we have any in this question? I think we did. Do you remember? Good, right here. So we had what? Unpresented checks. Remember I told you we deduct 4375. So it's going to be our 11403 minus 4375. So that gives me calculator. 11403 minus 4375 gives me 7028. Then I add what? My wrong credits. Did I have any wrong credits in this question? I think we did. Good. There it is. Wrong credits of what? 1,540, right? So 1,540. Okay, so let's add these. We have 7028 plus 1,540. Then we get 8,568. All right, then we less our uncredited checks. What does that give us? You remember how we got them? Right here. Uncredited checks, we said it was what? 5950. So 5950. Then we less also wrong debits. Did we have any wrong debits in the question? I don't remember. No, we didn't. right? We didn't. Did we? No. So it means this is dash, so 5950. So let's net this off. So let's just sum them up. So in your calculator, please enter negative 1022, so minus 1022, then plus 8568, then minus 5950. That gives you a positive figure of what? 1596. Then you say balance as per bank statement. So now let's see if this figure is familiar. What did we get? 1596. This is a positive figure. Good. Can you see this? The bank statement balance shows a balance of what? 1596. So we have correctly reconciled this question as well. I am not done with you. One last question. This one takes a different twist. I will look at that. And I promise you, like I said, nothing on this earth can beat you when it comes to bank reconciliation statement. So we've done this as well. Last question to go. And yeah, this is it. So let's do this one too. Another past question. So the following are extracts from the cash and bank statements of IBQ Limited for the month of April 2012. So they've given us a cash book here, right? We have all the entries, debit side, credit side. Then let's look at the back. Then here we have the bank statement. Here we have the debit side, the credit side, and we have the bank balance. Then we're required to write up the adjusted cash book and then draw up a bank reconciliation statement. Easy peasy. Very easy question. Very, very easy question. Let's start. In this question, you can see here we don't have a statement, we don't have sentences. They just give you two accounts to use, one bank statement, one cash book, and they've left you in the deep end to fend for yourself. But no worries, our principles remain the same. Like I told you, after you look at this third one, in addition to the second and the first, go to any exam and know you are going to smash that bank reconciliation account question hands down, right? Good. What we'll be doing here, as usual, let's prepare the adjusted cash book and then we prepare the bank reconciliation statement. So, what is the name of the company? Always remember to write the name of the company. So it's IBQ Limited. Okay. We need to prepare their adjusted cash book. All right, as usual, dollars. What I want to do with you today is we will compare transaction by transaction to see if everything on the cash book is in the bank statement and everything in the bank statement is on the cash book. The ones that are not, that's what we'll pick out as the answer. It's very easy, but be careful. Some of them are very, very tricky. So let's start. As usual, the first thing we need is what the balance on the adjusted cash book. And please take note, you are given two balances here. You are given the balance brought down. You are given the balance carried down. In accounting, remember that this is what? April 2012. What does the question say? They want it as what? Also April 2012. So it means that it's the closing balance that we are trying to adjust. If you pick this opening balance of 60,000, what you've done is you are now going back to what the closing was in the month of March, which is wrong. So please, it's our balance carried down of 75,720 that we'll pick. But take note, it's a balance carried down on the credit side. We know that all balance carried downs will become what? Balance brought down on the debit side of what? 75,720. So let's come here. Our balance brought down 75,720. Now let's start the question. Let the magic begin. What I'm going to do with you is I'm going to pick each transaction one by one, and see if it's on the bank statement. So let's start. On the 2nd of April, we have a transaction with Yao Jan, credit of what? 2,200 here. Right here, 2,200. I need to go to the bank statement and see if it's been credited here. So has the bank debited? That's what we'll do. So let's come to the bank statement. And as I expect, on the debit side, there's 2,200. So there's nothing wrong with that transaction. We let it go. We don't do anything to it. Let's go back to the cash book. On the 7th, let's go in order. So we've done the 2nd. Now let's do the 7th. There is Makabuaji of 14,000, which is a debit. Let's go and check if we'll see on the credit a 14,000 figure. Since here we debited it. So we come to the credit. And perfect credits, there is what? 14,000. So that is also perfect. We don't do anything to it. Let's go back to the cash book. On the 11th, there is a Suman of 5,120. So let's go to the debit, since here was a credit, and see on the bank statement. On the debits, perfect. There is debits of what? 5,120. That's also perfect. So far, so good. Then on the 13th, there's a figure by Ya Kesewa, debited of 4,900. Let's go and check if the credit has 4,900, and it's there. Ya Kesewa of 4,900 credits. So far, so good. Okay, let's continue. We have Osa Ej of 7,600 credits. Let's go and check the debit if there's 7,600 there. I come to the debit and conspicuously missing. There's no 7,600 on the debit side, as you can see here, right? So let's come back here. If I have credited my books with 7,600 and the bank has not recorded it, do you agree with me that this is clearly a case of, let me bring this. This is what? Who can guess? This is an unpresented check. Why is it unpresented? Credit here means that what? I have issued a check to Mr. Osa AJ of 7,600. If it's not on the bank for the bank to debit me yet, it means Mr. Osa AJ has either kept the check under his pillow, or he has misplaced it, or he has just not gone to the bank yet. So this is unpresented. He has not yet presented it to the bank for payment. So this is unpresented, right? Take note. So we found our first unpresented check, and you know where this will go? To go toward the bank reconciliation statement. Let's continue. On the 16th, we have Peter Mensa of 9,780 debit side, right? So let's go and see the credit side. Is there 9,780? Yes. So the 9,780 is here. So that figure is also fine. Nothing to adjust. Let's continue. We've done this. We've done this one, right? So yeah, so we had now on this transaction, Mate 1840 on the credit side of the cash book. So it must be on the debit side of what? The bank statement. So we come here, debit side, I don't see any Mate here. Can you see? There's nothing here in these transactions here. So similar to the first one, we've also given someone a check, right? We've made a payment of 1840 and the bank has not yet debited me. So this guy has not presented a check. So we found a second unpresented check. So we have two unpresented checks so far. All right, let's continue. Then we have Selassie Kofi of 3,800 debit in my books. So it means it must be a credit in the bank statement. So let's go to the credit side to see if we see 3,800. Credit side, nope, there's no 3,800 here, as you can see, right? So what would you call that? Anyone wants to guess? This is someone we have debited in our books. Means we have increased our bank balance. We have received money from this guy. If the bank has not yet credited us, then this is what? An uncredited check. That's all. Uncredited check. And that's it, really. Uncredited check. So we have one uncredited check here of 3,800. Right? Perfect. Now that we've done from cash book to bank statement, let's go to the bank statement and check all the things there that are not on the cash book. Then we'll record those ones as well, right? So here, instead of them giving you sentences, they just left two statements with you. But it's fine. We are survivors, aren't we? So let's start. I remember we saw Yao Jan, right? 2,200, just to confirm. Yes, it's here. So we are good. The next is 14,000. Makabuaji, yes, we saw it. Yes, it's here, 14,000. All right, the next is Isuman 5120. I think we saw it, that's why I've highlighted it. Yes, it's here, 5120. Perfect. Okay. Then Yakesewa 4900. 4900, we saw this as well. Okay. Then, can you see credit transfer ni 900? This is where someone has sent money to our account. The bank has credited us, but we are not aware he has sent us money yet. So now that we've seen our statements, if the bank has credited, what do we need to do? We need to debit. So we just come to the debit side and write credit transfer from who? Ni, how much was it? 900. So we put here 900. Let's keep going. The next is Peter Mensah of what? 9780. Did we have it on our debit side? Yes, it's here. Peter Mensah of 9780. We are good. Then we come to the debit side. We have bank charges of 160. There are no bank charges on our credit side. As you can see here, there are no bank charges. So it means if the bank has debited us 160, we need to what? Credit our account. So I was about to write credit. So bank charges of 160. Next is insurance of 1250. There's no insurance on our credit side, as you can see here, right? So we record it. Since the bank has debited, we will what? Credit our books. So insurance of 1250. Then you can see finally provident fund of 2570. I don't remember seeing any provident fund here. Can you see on the credit side? So if the bank has debited me, I need to what? Credit. So provident fund of 2570. And ladies and gentlemen, we are done. Let's balance off the accounts. So the debit side is clearly the bigger side. So I add 75720 plus 900. That gives me 76,000. 76,620. So I put the same 76,620 here, and then I subtract from these figures from it. So minus 160 minus 1250, then minus what? 2570. That gives me 72,640. So 72,640. This is my balance carried down. This is clearly my balance brought down. Debit balance of what? 72,640. This is what will feed into my bank reconciliation statement. So let's now prepare our bank reconciliation statement as at 30th April 2012. Remember, our template says what? The first thing is what? Balance as per adjusted cash book. What did we get? Right here, we got what? 72,640. So you put here 72,640. Then what do? You add on presented checks. Let's come to the question. I think we highlighted them. Good, right here. Can you see? Unpresented checks. We had two. We had Osai J, this one, which was 7,600, and Mate, which is what? 1,840. So we add 7,600 plus 1,840. So 7,600 plus 1,840 gives me 9,440. Then we add, according to our template, what? Any wrong credits. And if I remember correctly, there are no wrong credits in this question. So we add 9440. Then we come and less what? Uncredited checks. If you remember, we had just one, which is right here, this figure. What figure does it correspond to? 3,800. So we have just one, which is 3,800. Then we also less any wrong debits. This question has nil. So we less 3,800. So now let's add everything up. This is 0. So 72,640. Okay, plus 9440 minus 3,800. That gives me 78,280. And this would be our balance as per bank statement. Now hold on a second. How would you know if you're right or wrong? Let's go to the bank statement and see. You can see the bank statement gave us 3 columns. We have a debit column here, we have a credit column here, and there's a balance column. So let's come to the last day of the month, which is what? 30th. What is the balance? Can you see? Perfect. 78,280. So we have successfully, this one, 78,280 equals our 78,280 here. So we have successfully reconciled this one as well. I will leave a link to the PDF where you can download this question and practice yourself. Like I've said, my promise to you is if you can do these 3 questions correctly after watching this video, there is not a single question on bank reconciliation statements that can beat you anywhere in the world, said by any examining body, said by any school. No one. If you find a question that can beat you, please let me know in the comments, right? So hopefully this has been helpful. And if you have any questions, please don't forget to, you can leave them in the comments. I'll jump in there and respond. And if you love this, which I believe you did, don't forget to smash the like button. It means so much to us. And don't forget to share this video within your entire network. I'll catch you in my next video.